and they arrange fireworks for when the maid arrives. And the maid thinks maybe she's under attack. And Pimple is the name of her dog. I also wanted to talk a bit about the naming of the characters in English and how that happened. And I'm very curious about that, but I don't know if you have the answers, and I don't want to put too much pressure on Tom because everyone is so fantastically named in the Moomin universe. They just have the best names you can imagine. Anyway, Pimple is wearing this mask because Pimple has a dangerous secret. And Pimple's dangerous secret is that Pimple is a dog who only likes cats. It's tragic. And Pimple can never let anyone know this dangerous, dangerous dark secret, but eventually Moomin Mama breaks down the barriers and helps Pimple out. She says, "Why does he take everything so tragically? Cats or dogs, all that matters is that one does like something." So she convinces a dog, she paints a dog to look like a cat, and Pimple has the best day of his life. And I'm completely blanking on Pimple's mom's name. But she's like, "Pimple's playmate is no real cat, it's a dog that has been painted." And Moomin Mama says, "So what? As long as he's happy. After all, he only likes cats." She says, he must know the truth. You just pretend and pretend. That's why we have such a good time."
Once again, queer icon.
And then by the end of the story, Pimple knows the truth, and Pimple's okay. And Mrs. Philly Jog says, "Oh dear, have you spoiled your new maid already?" And Moomin Mama says, "We have, thank goodness." And that's the end of the story. And it's just a perfect little comic, you know? She's just a genius. And everyone is drawn in such amazing ways. The flowers that are everywhere, just growing exactly like they want to. Pimple's shamed little face. Everything about the little interstitial, there's not as many interstitial lines between the three panels in this section as there are, except for this one broom here, right? The broom, you can see dividing the two panels. That's like a signature Tove move that I don't think anyone else does in all of cartooning that I know of. And
It's so fun, those lines are normally just boring straight lines, and she gets in there and adds just these little details. Yeah.
That's a firework in the middle right there. And there's just, the cartooning is so timelessly incredible. She's just such a visionary in the way that she uses the medium, in the way that she uses the panels, in the way that she tells the story. Everything about it, you're like, these comics, they're incredible. Okay, so basically Tom started showing people the comics. Never tell anyone else that Moomin characters. This panel is definitely being recorded. And everybody who sees the comics is like, how can this be not in print? I want this, I'm desperate for this. These comics have to be in the world again. And they were received tremendously. Probably a lot of you came to the comics first, possibly even. I don't know, a lot of people grew up with the chapter books, but D&Q started with the comics. So now we can go back to, should we go back to the history section? Talk about what else we published? Sure. Great.
So yeah, well, we have 10 collections of the comic strips in total. So 5 that are mostly all Tove, but some collaboration with Lars, and then 5 volumes, 6 through 10, are all Lars after Tove retired. And then we also have the picture books available, the Little Comfort Topple, the book about Moomin, Pimple, and Little Mai, which is, if you guys haven't seen it, is so perfect, and I give it to every one of my friends who has a child. There's just these like gorgeous cutouts so that the images on the next page bleed through into the page before, and it's like super interactive.
think that's just another example of really kind of how innovative Tove was, because she was the first person really to do this, and the reason really was that there were limited colors per page, and using this technique then you can kind of expand on the amount of colors you could have on one page.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
I never knew that was the strategy, but that makes perfect sense because there is like a beautiful contrast. Every time you're doing a peekaboo, the contrast between the colors is just...
And I don't really know the full story here, but in Who Will Comfort Toffel, it's a story of a character who doesn't fit in, and there's kind of a plea at the end for letter writing. And wasn't there...
Like cartoons, movies, books, music. I demand you subscribe to this channel. Subscribe. Be prepared for doom. Subscribe or be prepared for doom. Do not resist. Do not resist. Subscribe. Subscribe. Subscribe.